VoiceThread is a communications tool that allows people to simply and securely discuss media whenever and wherever it's convenient for them. This video is intended as a comprehensive introduction for new users. When you first sign in to VoiceThread, you're always going to land here on your My Voice page. And this is sort of like your email inbox. This is the page that's going to contain all of the voice threads that have been created by you, that have been shared with you, or that you have subscribed to, which is sort of like bookmarking a VoiceThread discussion. So each thumbnail that you see here on this page is a VoiceThread, and each one is a separate and secure space to have a discussion about the media inside it. So this one here might be completely private, and this one here might be shared with 2 or 3 people, and this one here might be shared with the entire world. But whenever you first create a VoiceThread, it's always private, and no one can access it until you explicitly share it with someone. So this is your My Voice page, and these are all of your voice threads. But now let's answer the question, what is a voice thread? So this is a voice thread, and in the middle you'll see is the media, and it can be almost any kind of media, a video, a PowerPoint, a slide, a PDF, a Word doc, a picture, almost any kind of media. It goes in the center. It's what everyone is discussing. Around the edges, you'll see pictures or avatars that represent people who are participating in a conversation about this media here in the middle. You are only going to see one picture for a person no matter how many comments they make. So they may make 10 comments, but you see they're only going to have one picture there to represent them. So you can play somebody's comment by clicking on their face. That's one way to do it. Or you can use these controls down here. Here's play and pause, and then fast forward and going back. There's another way to get around too, which is this bar along the bottom, which is a little gray bar, and you'll see it has segments on it. Each segment represents one comment in this conversation, and they're recorded linearly. So the oldest conversation, the oldest comment is here on the left, the newest comment is here on the right, and when a new comment is made, it'll appear on the right here. Now, you can actually use this little ball down here, and if you click and drag it, you can actually use it to move through a conversation to get to a particular point.
Keep them from...
So that's another way of getting around. So that's commentary. Now, how to make a comment. And basically, you click the comment button, and you'll see there's 5 different ways. The first way over here on the right is to upload an audio comment, and this can be an MP3 or a WAV file that you have recorded elsewhere. You can also type a text comment. You can also use your computer's microphone to record an audio comment. You can use the webcam to make a comment, and you can use the telephone to make a comment. All of these different ways will be right for somebody at some point. So I strongly suggest try them all, because each one has a strength and a weakness and a right time to use it. But definitely play with all of them. Let's make one comment here just so you can see what it looks like. So I'll make a text comment by clicking on type, and then over here you can start typing, and your comment will go in there. And I would keep this under 2 or 3 paragraphs at the most, because these don't scroll. So if someone else is on a small screen, they may not see all of your comment. You can always make 2 or 3 comments in a row if you really want to write a book. But so you type your text in there, and then just click the save button, and then you'll see your avatar appears over here. Now you can always delete or edit your own comment. So if I click on it, I can select the text, delete it, or start typing in here, and then save that change or not save the change. And I can always delete my own comment too. So I just click the garbage can and then delete it. And that's it. Recording is not that much different. I'm going to click record. It just says start talking, and then I talk. And one additional thing that you can do when you're making a webcam or a microphone or a text comment is while you're talking, you'll see there's a palette over here of colors, and you'll see that your mouse cursor has turned into a pencil. So you can actually draw on the screen, and this little animated annotation, which we call a doodle, will be recorded and saved, and it will play back along with your voice. So this has a whole host of uses, but particularly in any visual arts instruction, it's incredibly helpful. When you're done, you click stop. We'll play that comment back so that you can hear it and see if you want to save it, and then you click save, and then it appears over here. And again, you can always delete your own comment. Okay, next let's look at how you get around inside a VoiceThread. Basically, there is a right arrow here that will take you forward one page at a time, and then a left arrow to go back. But then there's a grid of images here, and if you click it, we'll show you all the pages in the VoiceThread at once, and you can click to go to one particular page. Okay, so that's getting around in a VoiceThread. Now let's go look at a couple of examples. I'll go find something from my Voice page here. Let's see. Here's a great one. Okay, so in this example here, the students were told to solve this problem, but they do so by recording and showing their work when they draw. So I'll just play one student's comment.
To work this out, I would do 30 plus 60 equals 90. 8 plus 1 equals 9. 90 plus 9 equals 99.
Okay, so what's so interesting about this example is it was great that the student was able to show their work, but if you play the other two from the other students, you'll see that they also got the problem right, but they solved it using a different method. So all three were correct, but all three used three different methods. So it's pretty clear how this could be so important to their instructor, who can now see not just the end result, but rather he knows exactly the process, and he now knows what the student thinking was in a way that just wouldn't be possible if he only saw the end result. Another great part of this is that without the instructor getting involved at all three students taught each other a new method. So this is inherent in all VoiceThread environments. They are inherently collaborative, and so this sort of teaching, peer teaching, just happens without formal planning. So that's a great example. Let's go take a look at a couple others. Here's a great one involving a video. So in this example here, a anatomy professor uploaded a short video of a skull, and you control the video using these controls over here. You can press play to play the video, and you can click and drag on this ball to move through the video. But whenever you get to the point where you want to, you can click comment and then record, and we'll start recording whatever you do, including drawing on the video and including stopping and moving through the video, and then we play it all back at once. So let's take a look at that.
Here we are looking at a lateral view of a real skull with no lines indicating.
So he's talking, but then he starts drawing, and when he needs to move to a different view, he just moves the scrubber ball forward, it goes to a different part, and starts drawing there. So basically there's three modes of input. There's his voice, there's the drawing, and then there is the movement of the video. So it creates a really tremendous, a wonderful sense of presence on the part of the instructor in his comment, and it's hard to imagine the text equivalent to this.
Some people.
Okay, let's take a look at another one. This is a pretty amazing project, and it's available as an example in our library, which you can go to. In fact, a number of these are, so I do suggest you go there. But what's so important about this is that this type of student project has been done for a long time. But what's different is now it's published, and it allowed people from outside the classroom to comment on the student work. And we have a saying that goes something like, student engagement is directly proportional to the number of feet from the classroom that their work travels, or the number of people in their audience. So if you can increase either one of those, then you increase student engagement. And VoiceThread is, we think, a very good vehicle for that. Okay, let me see if I can find one more. Here's a great one that shows off the webcam commenting. So in this example here, there's a video that plays in the middle, and then the instructor comes on and gives instruction to the students in ASL, and then the students come along and then they discuss it. And what's so great about this example is that these students are pre-writers. So this is probably the only way that they could get together online to have a discussion about a video. And as you can see, they may be pre-writers, but it's clear they have a lot to say. Okay, those are some great examples. Now let's take a quick look at how you create a VoiceThread. So you're just going to come up here and click on the Create tab. And the first thing you want to do is come down here and click on Upload. And here are all of the different options for bringing media into your VoiceThread. You can select your computer to upload files from. You can enter in the web address of a media file. This is not a web page, but the actual address of a piece of media, and we'll bring that into your VoiceThread. You can use your webcam to record video directly into the center of a VoiceThread, and you can also use this to take pictures. And you can use this sort of as a lightweight document scanner. So if you have a picture, you just hold it up and take a quick picture, and it'll enter that into your VoiceThread. And then lastly, there are a couple of media sources that you can choose from, and I'll show you a couple of these. So here they are. I'm going to select the New York Public Library, and here's a description of this resource, but then here's how you get into it. So I'll click that. Okay, and then here on the left-hand side are all the different sub-collections, and I'll just choose one of them. And so here are all the images, and you can scroll through them. And when you find one, you just click on it. I'll select a couple here, and then come up and click Import. And then we're going to bring those files into your VoiceThread directly from the New York Public Library's database. And after we've done that, you can click Close here, and you see the images are here. And something really neat about this is, let me open up the VoiceThread itself. You'll see that not only did we bring the image in, but we also added a title automatically, and that title is also a link back to the New York Public Library's website where the image was actually taken from. So attribution of the media is automatic. Okay, so let me go back to editing. So here are the two images that I brought in, and you can just click on these to reorder them, to change the order of them. And if you want to edit anything about that image, you can come over here, and this is the preview, and you can rotate the image. You can replace it with a different image. You can add a title over here, and you can delete it right here. So we have our media inside the VoiceThread. So usually the next step is to comment on it. So I click comment, it opens up the VoiceThread. I can make whatever comments I want. I could always save this for later and do commenting later. But after you've done that, you're going to want to share. And let's take a look at that. So I click share, and you have lots of options. And the first thing you want to ask yourself is, do you want to share with a specific set of people, either via a group or actual individuals? Or do you want to just get a quick and easy link that you can share with everyone? So if you don't need to do the secure sharing, then what I would do is come up here and just click on Get a Link. Okay, here you're going to click this button to copy the link, and this link by default will allow anyone to view and comment on this VoiceThread. And this is the easiest way to share. You click copy the link, and then you take this link and you're going to put that in an email. You can put it on a web page, and anyone who clicks that link is going to be able to view and comment on it. So if you want to, as an option, you can also decide to click here, which would turn on comment moderation, which basically means that only you will see these comments as they're made until you choose to show them to everyone else. Your other option here is, do you want it to show up on our browse page so that people who are browsing or searching on the browse page will be able to see it? But after you make these choices, you click copy the link and you're all set. So this is the simplest way to share when I don't know exactly who I want to have see this, and I want it to be able to virally move around. But if I am going to be sharing something that needs to remain private, then these options over here are what I'm going to use to privately share, either with a group or with individuals. First, let's share with a group. So you select the group, and then you're going to click one of these two sharing buttons in here. They're both gray, which means they're not selected, and the first one, the eyeball, means allow to view, and the second one means allow to view and comment. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and you'll see immediately everyone who's in the group is now given permission to view and comment on the VoiceThread. So this is the groups method of allowing somebody to view and comment. So let me turn those off. I'll click them once to turn them on and once to turn them off. And instead over here, I'm going to allow a particular individual. So I'm going to click here, and now Bill can view and comment on the VoiceThread. And when you're sharing with an individual, there's one more option, which is the pencil here. And if you click on the pencil icon, that will allow them to view, comment, and co-edit. And co-editors can do everything that the owner could do. They can add new content, they can delete content, they can share, they can change publishing options, they can really do anything. And lastly, if you want to, you can click on a contact or multiple contacts to select them. And then you can click the Send Invite button. And this will we will send them an email with a special link in it that will allow them to immediately view this VoiceThread, even though it's private. It has a key in it that will allow that individual immediate access. Okay, so these are all of the private sharing options. Now let's take a look at some of the other options like publishing, which you can access by coming down here and clicking on the Publishing Options button. That will bring up this dialog where you can change the publishing settings for this VoiceThread. So on this particular one, anyone is allowed to view and comment on it, and comment moderation is on, but it is not shown on the browse page. So you can change these at any time and as often as you like by coming in here and checking or unchecking and then clicking Save. And that's it for publishing. Let's go over some of these other options that you'll see at the bottom of the editing page. So over here is Embed, and if you click that, we'll bring up this dialog here where you can quickly post to any of these services, but also you can click Copy here to get the embedding code that you can embed on pretty much any web page. I'll click Done, and then Export. The Export button will allow you to take this VoiceThread and all the content that's in it, the images, the videos, the commentary, whether it's audio, text, or webcam, and we'll turn it into one single movie that you can download and then play offline. And you can put this on an iPod or an iPad or a whole bunch of portable devices. You can also burn it to a DVD. So it allows you to take that entire VoiceThread conversation and archive it offline. And then lastly, you've got playback options, and I'll click that and I'll go through them one at a time. Okay, the first option is how many seconds after the last comment plays on a VoiceThread particular slide that you then it will go to the next page. And if the intention of your VoiceThread is to be like a presentation and you want it to go from slide to slide to slide, then you're going to want to probably set this at 0 so it moves along quickly. But if instead what you really want is to allow people to take the time to think about and then comment on their VoiceThread, then you may want to set this for much longer, something more like 20 seconds before it turns to the next slide. The next option is Start Playing when opened, and the default for that is yes. You can also have it open up in full browser mode, so it fills the browser screen. You can also choose to whether or not you want other people to download original images and documents, and this can be very useful if you're working with large files like PDFs that are 50 megabytes and just too large to fit into an email. You can actually put them into the into the VoiceThread, and then other people can download them directly from the VoiceThread. Okay, the last one is hide the final share slide. On the last page of a VoiceThread, we usually show a sort of like a title page with links to sharing, allowing someone to share it, and you can choose to hide that. You can also choose whether you want to allow other people to export, and you can also choose if you want to allow other people to make a copy. If you do do this, then what it would allow other people to do is make a copy that then becomes their own. And this can be really useful if you want to create templates that can be then used by others. Okay, I think that's all of the playback options. And so I think I've covered all of the technical aspects of participating, creating, and sharing VoiceThreads, at least for a beginner level. But before I go, I'd like to speak just a few moments about something that's really important to us at VoiceThread, which is quality, having great conversations online. And this doesn't come automatically. If you go to our browse page and you look around, you'll find some fantastic examples. But how do you accomplish that? How do you get a great conversation online? Well, we've learned a couple of tips. So the first thing is to make sure that everybody understands and is given explicit instructions about what is expected of them. So the first commenter is so important, and the second commenter is also very important because they set the tone for the entire conversation. If the first comment is "I loved this" in text, and that's the extent of it, well, chances are that people who come afterwards are going to leave similar comments. So if you want something more, if you want more complex and thoughtful commentary, make sure you lead by example and you provide it first. And if you can rope a friend in to leave the second comment, then you've got a conversation and people will tend to follow your lead. The other thing is that it's an asynchronous environment of VoiceThread, which means people come and participate whenever it's convenient for them. So it means they have the time to really edit and re-edit and analyze and record and re-record. And it's helpful if people understand that this is a publishing vehicle, and so they have all the time in the world they want, and they can take that time and really make something that is going to be a great contribution to moving the conversation forward. So those are the two big tips to getting great conversations. But thank you for taking the time to look at this presentation, and contact us and let us know if you have any thoughts. Thank you.